morning, all. Renika, I would request if we could add, yeah, 2 minutes. We'll be starting soon, shortly. Best of luck. Charge na. शुरू करो. I'll do that. Hello. Good morning, all. I request all the dignitaries to take their seat. We are about to start. How do how, so, पानी डाल दे पानी पानी पानी. Let's Renika, let's start the session. So it's a very good morning today, and a very warm and a heartfelt welcome to each one of you present here today. It's truly an honor to welcome you to the seventh edition of NAAM 2026 as we come together to commemorate International Women's Day on March 8th, 2026. Today is not just an event, it's a celebration of courage, resilience, and a strong spirit of women who continue to shape our communities and inspire meaningful change. We are grateful for your presence as we gather to recognize stories that deserve to be seen, heard, and celebrated. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Lakshman Shankar, and I'm honored to serve you as the MC today for the event. And I've been associated with the NAAM since 2023, and it has been a meaningful experience. Valuing women makes us stronger and better allies. I'm inspired by the amazing women I have met in my life whose determination and selflessness motivate me. It's an honor to be your host today. Today, we celebrate the achievements of 8 extraordinary women entrepreneurs at the 7th edition of NAAM, a tribute to International Women's Day. Through this initiative, Apollo Tyres Foundation has proudly recognized rural women whose strength, resilience, and leadership continues to drive meaningful grassroots change. These women are not just entrepreneurs, they are change makers, leaders, and role models for more inclusive and empowered future. Because when women thrive, communities thrive, and when communities thrive, nations progress. Allow me to briefly outline the flow of today's program. I assure you it promises to be both insightful and deeply inspiring. We will start with a welcome address from Gregor Trumel, the Counselor of Education, Science and Culture at the Embassy of France in India and the Director of French Institute in India. Next, we will have a ceremonial lighting of the lamps symbolizing knowledge, hope, and progress, values that reflect today's celebration. Renika Grover, Head of Sustainability and CSR, will give a context setting address to outline our vision. Followed by that, Mahalakshmi Ma'am, CHRO of Apollo Tyres, will then give a special address. One of the key highlights will be the launch of the digital e-commerce platform, She Leads Bharat project. This project is a partnership between Apollo Tyres Foundation and Frontier Markets, aimed at supporting women-led businesses and improving their access to market through technology. We will also have a panel discussion on advancing equity for inclusive futures, beg your pardon, presented by Women's Empowerment Principle, WEP. This will highlight our shared responsibility to turn our commitment into real actions. To conclude on a powerful and inspired note, we are privileged to have with us a celebrated icon from the world of women's cricket, Anjum Chopra, a former captain of Indian women's cricket team. She will share her journey and inspire us with her belief that har safar mein dam hai. So today's event is truly elevated by the presence of our esteemed dignitaries and distinguished guests whose unwavering leadership and commitment shape vital conversations around equity, inclusion, and sustainable progress. We are deeply honored to have Lakshmi Puri Ma'am, Independent Director at Apollo Tyres and former Assistant Secretary General of United Nations, as well as former Deputy Executive Director of UN Women. Her lifelong dedication to advancing gender equality and women's empowerment inspires leaders and communities worldwide. We are privileged to welcome Gregor Trumel, Counselor of Education, Science and Culture at the Embassy of France in India and Director of French Institute in India, who embodies the strength of international collaboration and shared values. We are also extending a warm welcome to R. Mahalakshmi, Chief Human Resource Officer at Apollo Tyres Limited. Joining us is Ajeta Shah, Founder and CEO of Frontier Markets. We're also grateful to have with us Nicolas de Lebrousse, Political Counselor at the French Embassy in India. And now to formally commence today's proceedings, it is my honor and privilege to invite on stage Gregor Trumel to deliver the welcome address. A big round of applause for him. Okay. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you. आपका फ्रेंच इंस्टीट्यूट में बहुत स्वागत है. It's my pleasure to be here and to have you all today. I'm rejoicing to receive this beautiful event along with Apollo Tire for the second time, and thank you very much to all of you and to this great company for your what you do and your engagement and commitment in the field of empowering women. And thank you, Rinika, for your friendship. And we met last year, and now it's a long and good partnership we'll keep on doing together. It's also good because at exactly the same place 1 week ago, we were with the French president, the president of the French Republic, who were visiting us from France. He was in India, and he met Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji in Mumbai and in Delhi, and then he stayed for the AI summit. So at exactly the same place where you are sitting today, we had 200 artists and cultural entrepreneurs together at the French Institute last week. So I'm very, very proud as the director of the French Institute to be graced by such a presence last week by the French presidents, and this week with you all for this great project called NAAM. I really love and appreciate very much. And so I'm very much honored to be here today and hear about the inspiring stories of women and participate in the recognition of your achievements, as we will be celebrating also the International Women's Day next week. Actually, it's the International Day of the Rights of the Women, a day to recognize women's achievements and advocates for gender equality. And to begin with, I would like to thank once again Apollo Tires and NAAM project. Beautiful name, NAAM. One name, un nom. As you already know, France has declared its foreign policy to be a feminist one in 2019. And concretely, this means that our country prioritizes the promotion of gender equality, women's rights, and the empowerment of women, both internally and also externally. And I'm happy to have today my two excellent colleagues, Héloïse Ondé, in charge of gender equality and equality in general at the French Institute, and Nicolas Delabrusse, my excellent colleague of the French Embassy, in charge of equality and gender equality at the French Embassy. Thank you for coming and being part of this great event with me today. So we are deeply convinced that achieving gender equality is essential to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals adopted by the United Nations in 2015, Mrs. Ambassador. Our goal is to create a world where women have equal access to opportunities, can live free from violence, and have the power to shape their own futures. To prepare this speech, I just made some research, and I've just found that women contribute officially to 37% of the world's GDP. 37 for half of the humanity, despite performing the vast majority of unpaid labor. In India, this figure is significantly lower, standing around 18%, largely due to a lower formal labor participation rate. However, India's led development initiatives are currently pushing to close this gap. So with NAAM campaign and its change agents, les agents du changement in French, Apollo Tires, truly a game changer company in this field, actively working towards women empowerment. To those exceptional women, I would like to say congratulations. Shabash, shabash, ladies, for being the change you want to see in the world. And thank you for your strength and motivation. Zor, I think you say, strength. Today we are also lucky to have with us Mrs. Anjun Chopra, former captain of India's women cricket team. What's she? And dear Arjun, thank you for joining us, and I look forward to listening to your experience in sports in a sometimes, not always, हमेशा नहीं, male-dominated field. Your career has been nothing short of exceptional, and I am certain many among us will benefit from your insights. So this collaboration with Apollo Tires reflects our shared commitment to gender equality, and it is my pleasure to be hosting this event here at the French Institute in India, a place dedicated to cultural exchange and understanding. So, many thanks, बहुत धन्यवाद, Apollo Tires के लिए for this great co-built partnership and for the other projects such as the World Art Festival that is taking place until the 9th of March across 15 Indian cities that we do together with Apollo Tires. This event is a perfect example of how cultural collaboration and corporate responsibility can converge to create lasting social impacts. So thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'm so happy to be with you all today. मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. Thank you very much.
Gregor, I just request you to stay on stage. I request Renika Grover to come on stage to felicitate Gregor. Yeah. Thank you. पीछे कर दीजिए. Thank you, Gregor, for your wonderful words. So moving on further, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move to a movement that symbolizes enlightenment, hope, and a new beginning. I'd like to invite on stage Lakshmipuri ma'am, Mahalakshmi ma'am, Gregor Trummel, Ajita Shah, Parinita Singh, a social worker, Renika Grover, and Bhumika Panwar from the UN Women. I would humbly request if you could remove your shoes for the lighting of the lamp. Do we have Bhumika Panwar also with us? Okay. Come, please. Huh. And also Nicola De Bruce. De Bruce, please join us from there. Please come. No. Do you mind removing the shoes? Do you mind removing the shoes? What? Removing the shoes? If you could remove the shoes. Remove the shoes? Yeah, shoes. Oh, sorry. My God. Please come. You can pass it on to her. नहीं चाहिए. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So, please, you can. If you could actually take a quick photo op. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for our distinguished guests for this meaningful gesture on this special occasion. We'll take a moment till they get their shoes on. It's a long walk for Gregor. Huh? It's a long walk for you. So now we are entering into a pivotal moment in today's program with the context setting address, which will illuminate the purpose behind NAAM and the discussion to follow. It's my pleasure to introduce Rinika Grover, Head of Sustainability and CSR at Apollo Tyres. With over a decade of experience in corporate social responsibility, Rinika has propelled Apollo Tyres' sustainability journey, aligning initiatives with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and championing a future of responsibility and net zero ambition. Her work reflects a deep commitment to creating lasting value for both the organization and the society. Please join me in welcoming Rinika Grover to the stage to share her insights and set the stage for the upcoming discussion.
Oops. Greetings. Bonjour. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste. और वन्नकम. मुझे नहीं मालूम कहाँ से लोग आए हुए हैं यहाँ पर, तो मैं अपनी तरफ से हर भाषा का प्रयोग करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ जितना भी मेरे को याद है. Warm welcome to all the people over here, the dignitaries, Gregor Trumel, Miss Mahalakshmi, Miss Lakshmi Puri, Ajaita Shah, and Miss Pariniti Singh. It's a pleasure. It's absolutely. And of course, Nicola as well, sorry. And most importantly to all of you who've made this occasion such a privileged occasion for us on the 7th edition of NAAM, which is in partnership with Institute, French Institute of India. Before I move, I think it would just be a pleasure to actually acknowledge our partnership. Nous sommes ravis de collaborer avec Institut Français pour troisième semestre. J'espérons toujours travailler ensemble forever. So we're delighted to be a part, and we're delighted to be having this partnership with the French Institute of India the third time, the troisième semester. Troisième fois or troisième semester somewhere? Okay, okay. And we really, really hope that we continue this partnership forever, and it continues in years to come. Today's event, as Gregor was mentioning, it aligns with the 8th International Women Day, 8th of March, International Women's Day, pardon me. And it's not just about the future, isn't just about female, it's about equality. It's about equity. So when we talk about that, it's imperative to kind of acknowledge that and talk about what we do at Apollo Ties Foundation. We at Apollo Ties Foundation have embraced or embedded diversity and equality within our functioning. It's not just in our female workforce where we are looking at increasing diversity, equity, inclusion percentages within the foundation, but we are also looking at various different aspects of diversity, which is having programs that involve transgender community or people with special needs as well. So that's what true equality and diversity means, and that's what our ambition and our work forward is. But when you talk about inclusion, it's very, very easy to talk about inclusion, but there are lots of challenges that come ahead. And here I have a story which I was reading. It's called Stop Elevator story that I wanted to share with the group over here. Once long ago, there was, and it's just something I came across, and it just kind of resonated very well with what's happening today at the event. So there was this man who rushes into the elevator and presses the, in the elevator, you have the closed door button. He rushes, he's running late, he presses it harder, and there was a woman standing over there very quietly, and she just made a comment. She said, sometimes this button is not even connected. That's just what she said. And he looked at her and he's like, oh, I was rushing for no reason. And that's where and that's what the overall essence is, that when we've been, so he just replied back, he's like, oh, so I'm stressing for nothing. So when you press harder, it's just that it's not that the elevator moves when it's meant to, and when you press harder, it's not that it's going to make you reach earlier. So when you kind of resonate it with what today's day is and the essence of International Women's Day, where we're here to celebrate, we're just talking about very often when women are told that, you have to press harder, you have to prove yourself, you have to prove, you have to speak louder, you have to push harder, all of those things. And that's what we've grown up with. It doesn't mean that you'll reach the destination faster. It just says that you have to have the perseverance and you have to have the commitment to reach the destination that you have started to move towards. And that's where we talk about how we're very, very delighted to have the 8 women who have shown the perseverance, who've shown the commitment, who've shown that what NAAM truly is. Today, we are having the 7th edition of NAAM because it's because of your commitment, your perseverance, and your work that we are all here to absolutely acknowledge and and cherish in terms of what the day truly means. And it's because of you. It's the saying that says you never left the lift. You still stayed on, you still had the commitment to be there in the lift, and that's what NAAM is. NAAM to us is not just a name for a woman, it's actually a name that she's given her community. The name that the community recognizes her with, that's what NAAM resonates for us, that's what NAAM signifies for us. So thank you to the NAAM participants for giving us the privilege, for making sure that their journeys are something that we can talk about, because we believe that each story is inspiring and every story has a meaning. every story is so inspiring that it makes a domino effect for us going forward, because that's truly resonates what we are here for, because at the end har safar mein dum hai. That's the only thing I wanted to kind of acknowledge today, and just say that for us your story is as powerful, and we would like the world to know about your story. Thank you again for being here. Thank you to everybody, and a warm welcome to all of you.
Rinika, I'll just ask you to stay back. I'll have, yes, please. So I request Gregor Schumann to come over onto the stage to felicitate Renika Grover. I'd also like to specially mention this souvenir that Gregor is passing on to Renika is symbolizes innovation, initiative by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron. Yeah, and this aims to deepen collaboration across strategic technology sectors, including AI, space, defense, healthcare, and sustainable development. Thank you. Thank you. Hmm. So, going ahead, I've got some smiles from Mahamam to come. So, we will now moving to a special address by a leader who plays a pivotal role in shaping organizational culture, talent strategy, and inclusive growth. It's my privilege to introduce Mahalakshmi Ma'am, Chief Human Resource Officer, Apollo Tyres Limited. She brings nearly 3 decades of experience across industries, including telecom, pharma, FMCG, and manufacturing, spanning India, Africa, UK, and Southeast Asia. She has crafted and executed people strategies that delivered tangible business impact at scale. She's a certified life coach and recognized thought leader. She was acknowledged as Economic Times Women Leader of the Year 2021 and a HR influencer twice. Over to you, ma'am. Please come over. A round of applause for her.
Thank you. Audible? Is this audible? Wonderful. I don't know if I can say bonjour, but my know-how of French will end there. So bonjour and good morning to everyone. I had a few thoughts that I thought I'd use to talk, but I'm going to go off script because I'm more a woman of heart. So I'm going to start where Rinika ended. Har safar mein dum hai, which essentially loosely translates to there's so much power in every story. And before I came on stage, I'm very thankful for the kind words with which I was introduced. But मुझे बहुत मजा आया अपनी सहेली और सुपर सहेली से मिलके. I really loved Kottakkal vanda nammalde rendu ladies pineapple making and tailoring, right? So there's such powerful stories that I actually want to start today with hope, and not with some of the statistics and the call to action kind of, strong sentiments that I walked in when I thought I'll address everyone. I'm actually really filled with hope when I met with all of you and heard your stories, my dear 8 ladies. You are an inspiration, because I sometimes used to step back and think women feel so much guilt when they actually just want to go and do what is practically an equal thing that all of us have a right to go and do, right? But when I saw your stories, and some of you are shy, some of you are bold, but it would have taken so much for you to realize your suffer and come out successful. And I feel really proud that you have walked in with so much pride into this event today. I also feel that I also believe that very often women are hesitant to ask for support from their families, from their villages. Our role modeling in, in the movies we see, etc., used to be a woman has to be taking care of home, which is, I think someone said, unpaid work, But to actually chase your dream, अपने सपने के पीछे भागना, and फिर उसके लिए जो जिसका मदद चाहिए वो लेना, is what has got you here today. मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा ये सुन के भी कि आप में से काफी लोग अपने अपने गांव में एंड अपने अपने शहरों में यू आर द इंस्पिरेशन. आपको देख के दूसरे लोगों को भी दे आर फीलिंग द करेज that we can also go and do more, So you are not just building the path to yourself and for yourself. The steps you have taken have actually paved the way for so many others to think that it is possible. So thank you very much for being who you are. I went off script, but this came straight from the heart. I'm very inspired to meet all of you, and thank you for getting me here. So yeah, I mean, I think today we celebrate all of you, the 8 of you, but today is probably a little bit more than that, and before I go on, I must therefore welcome each one of you to this 7th edition of NAAM. Today is not just about recognizing these people, but also a little bit of recognition of what is the larger shift that we are really trying to push through initiatives and conversations like these, right? Can a nation truly, truly grow if half the population of that nation is still trying to get permission to participate in the growth of that nation? No? So I believe that India is at a crucial threshold today. By the year, I forget the exact year, so I'm going to refer, 2047, we want to be a developed nation. And I really believe we can do that. But that would need each and every person, irrespective of nationality, state, gender, diversity in all its forms that represents India, to be an equal, proud participant in that journey. And only then can India truly, truly progress. So to my mind, women's participation in work is not a matter of, what is called charity or CSR. It is actually an economic matter. It is a matter that demands society, our homes, our educations, and our role models to acknowledge that equity is needed for equality, and speed doesn't define growth. It is penetration that defines growth. Two people growing will not grow the country. Growth has to penetrate across and penetrate across, in all its forms and shapes. So, well, it's also a leadership responsibility. I feel very proud standing here. I'm not standing here because of who I am, but because I represent this wonderful company that has chosen to look at growth, not just as a financial performance metric, but it's a company that is looking at building an equal opportunity inside the company. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get into a panel. But also in terms of giving back and impacting the society and the partners that we work with, so that growth becomes a holistic growth for Apollo Tyres and through Apollo Tyres, so that together we can grow that distance and enable that dum in every journey and every life that we can touch in the spirit of one family. That's what we are. Our commitment to some of these is also evinced in the fact that we are proud signatories of the WEP. But signing off these documents and being signatories is the easy part. The difficult part is how do we make sure that in everyday decisions, this change is felt. And in everyday decisions, we stand for that. And that's really the opportunity probably that we are all together, hoping to take forward. So yes, since its launch in 2019, I hope I'm getting the year right, Renika. Since it's starting in 2019, NAAM has shown us that sometimes change can happen one step at a time, one woman at a time. And I feel really proud to represent that support that my company is providing to the community, so that step by step, with role models like all of you all, we can inspire the entire nation, to be more equitable so that we can grow together. So as we celebrate these change agents and as we begin today's conversations, I just want to reiterate my own belief, which is beautifully captured in the latest ad from Apollo Tires. There is strength in every journey, and there is a possibility in every step that we take. And let's all, there's so many men here. I do hope that each of you can be the advocates and allies for, women and the third gender that you see around you, to really see what can we do in our homes, what can we do in the society around us and in our offices to really make it equitable so that together we can take it towards equal. So power to all of us as we start living some of these dreams. Here's to start us off with the spirit of Har Safar Mein Dum Hai. Back to all of you all to run the agenda of the rest of the day for Ek Now. Thank you.
Ma'am, I would like to have you on the stage. I'd like to invite Nicolas de Lebreus, political counselor at the French Embassy in India, to felicitate Mahalakshmi ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Yeah, please. Before we move forward to the most anticipated segment of today's celebration, I would like to invite upon stage Lakshmi Puri ma'am and Elias Onde to come on stage. I request Elias Onde to felicitate Lakshmi Puri ma'am. Please come. Please. So Elias Onde is the National Coordinator, Campus France, Embassy of France in India. Thank you. Thank you. We now arrive at the most anticipated and inspiring segment of today's celebration, the felicitation ceremony of the change agents of the 7th edition of Ek Naam 2026. These remarkable women embody courage, resilience, and the power of determination. Their journeys are the testament to the extraordinary impact that the women entrepreneurs continue to create within their communities and beyond. To begin, I invite you all to witness their inspiring stories through a special audio-visual presentation. May I have the AV, please? Thank you. I'm sure we all feel deeply inspired by their journey of strength, perseverance, and transformation. I'd like to inform you that the selection of 8 women for this edition resulted from Apollo's intervention and a collaborative effort with our external NGO partners. I'd like to specially acknowledge BAIF, Cine, iVillage, and Sampada Trust for their dedication in introducing their respective women entrepreneurs to this distinguished platform. I now invite Lakshmipuri ma'am, Gregor Trummel, and Mahalakshmi ma'am to kindly step forward to felicitate the 8 inspiring women entrepreneurs of the 7th edition of NAAM 2026. A round of applause for all of them. May I request our change agents to please join us on stage as I call out your names one by one. Ready? Sahida BV. I would like to have a big round of applause for them, please. Seema S. And that should continue till they get felicitated, please. I would want a big round of applause for them, yeah. Meera Appa, Pinky Ji, Manjula Ben Patel, Kavita Ji, Gohil Daksha Ben, and Bahamuni Khishku. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome them with a huge round of applause as they come forward to receive their well-deserved recognition. Yeah, so, yeah. आप लोग सारा काम करके आए हैं, यहाँ पे सिर्फ आपको अच्छा सा फोटो खिंचवाना है, बढ़िया, और खुश रहना है, बड़ा बिग स्माइल ऑन योर फेस. आया अरे नहीं नहीं लास्ट वन मोर one more the last but not the least may now have all of them on the stage to have a group photo. आप यहीं रहिए, आप यहीं रहिए, आप यहीं रहिए. सारे लोग ऊपर आएंगे आप. Just stay here. How do you want? So if you could actually have 2 to 3 people in between, and then you can actually have.
Women, so this time we have only one man, so let him stand in the middle.
You can do that. We can do that.
If you accept me.
Oh yeah. Yes. Ma'am, you can stand there, and then. Short लंबा हो गया. एक आदमी. Thank you. Yeah. Stay closer. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thank you, dignitaries. Congratulations once again to you, to our awardees. You're a true symbol of courage, determination, and transformative change. We now move to a very special segment of today's program, a fireside chat. I would request a fireside chat and a launch of a strategic partnership with Frontier Markets, a collaboration that represents our shared commitment to empowering women entrepreneurs and strengthen grassroots ecosystems. Before we begin the fire chat, I invite you all to witness a short audio-visual presentation showcasing this meaningful partnership and its vision for creating a sustainable impact. I'd request, एक मिनट, अभी मत रखिए, ये वीडियो को चलाने के बाद, please.
Apollo Tires believes rural women are central to household and community well-being. Yet, limited access to resources restricts the livelihood potential. Through Navya, our flagship CSR program, we focus on empowering rural women economically, socially, and emotionally. Navya has delivered a strong social return on investment of 1.51, reflecting measurable and sustainable outcomes. by strengthening 921 self-help groups. Over 88% of women accessed loans below 7% interest, while rupees 2.71 crore was unlocked through government livelihood schemes. More than 20,000 women have been trained in income generation activities, creating a foundation for economic independence. Since 2019, the NAAM campaign has celebrated women Udyoginis, reinforcing Apollo Tyres' core value of one family. To scale impact, Apollo Tyres leveraged frontier markets as a key livelihood partner, integrating technology, capacity building, market linkages, and network support. This partnership enabled 200 rural women entrepreneurs in Baghodia block, Gujarat, to elevate incomes and build resilient enterprises. Frontier Markets enables Apollo Tyres women Udyoginis to go digital, unlocking access to capital, markets, networks, and know-how. Across India, Frontier Markets aims to enable 10 lakh micro and small enterprises to succeed in the digital economy by 2030. Through the She Leads Bharat Udyam initiative, rural women are equipped with digital tools and market access, emerging as leaders in their communities. Women entrepreneurs are transformed into multi-service digital entrepreneurs through the AI-enabled Meri Saheli app. The platform unlocks access to essential products and services while enabling sustainable livelihoods at the last mile. Through Meri Saheli, women deliver assisted rural commerce, banking services, digital learning, and paid data collection. Over the last 5 years, 40,000 women across 5,000 villages have elevated and diversified their incomes, becoming more resilient. The model has been recognized by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, validating its impact and scalability. The initiative has now entered Gujarat in partnership with Apollo Tyres Foundation, deepening regional impact. Through collaboration with Frontier Markets, we are accelerating financial inclusion and building resilient, sustainable communities.
Just set up the chair. Thank you. This powerful partnership reflects our collective ambition to create opportunities, enable entrepreneurship, and empower women as leaders of change within their communities. It's now my pleasure to welcome Renika Grover to moderate the fireside chat. Joining her in conversation is a truly inspiring change maker, Ajeta Shah, founder, CEO of Frontier Markets, and a visionary leader behind the She Leads Bharat Udyam. With 20 years of experience in empowering rural women and building inclusive economic and digital ecosystem. We will also invite a special interaction with our inspiring super Sahelis, Neetaben Parmar and Niraliben Chiragbai. Their remarkable journey exemplifies transformative impact of opportunity, resilience, and grassroots leadership. May I invite Renika Grover, Ajeta Shah, and our super Sahelis to kindly join on the stage. Kindly also hand over the mic, please. 4 mics or 2 mics. हेलो एक रखिए अभी
Greetings. Ready to go? Yeah. Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me? Oh, great.
Can you make it a little louder?
Yeah.
Increase the volume. Yeah.
think it's a privilege to be here chatting up with Ajaita, and I just wanted to give a little bit of a context over here. When we were talking about Apollo Ties Foundation, just for everyone, I mean, I thought it would be nice to kind of highlight this as an anecdote. When we started the first time in 2019 to look for the 8 women, our criteria of selection was that the women should be able to travel. That was the only criteria in 2019. From then to now, we have a checklist. Pardon me. We have a checklist of about 30 indicators where we actually go through the selection process. There are external jury members and internal from Apollo as well. I have no influence in selection. So from then to now, we've had a huge transition in terms of what NAAM is. But what truly makes NAAM and the work that we do under the livelihood program is what do we do next? Where do we take this program? So at a point when we were looking, and livelihood is one of the fundamentals for us to take this program forward. And when we were looking at that, we met Ajaita. It was actually, Ajaita, I can say it was such a privilege to have met you. It was just random, impromptu, some introduction, but what Ajaita brings, we'll talk about that as well. But when we were looking in terms of what do we want to do in livelihood space, how do we amplify, accelerate livelihood, we realized there was the next step forward was to create more opportunities for women so that they have this platform where we can integrate them with technology. And that's where we found Ajaita just at the right moment, just at the pivotal moment of when Apollo Ties Foundation was going through its transition to see what next needs to be done. So, Ajaita, you've had a marvelous journey. I know you started Frontier Market. So before we start, I'd like you to share with the audience over here what inspired you to start Frontier Market, because it's not easy. And when you look at the rural segment, why did you feel that the rural segment in India had the potential, and how could you take it forward is something that I want you to highlight upon.
First of all, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And let me just first start off with thanking the Indian Institute of the French Institute, of course, Apollo Tires Foundation. What a beautiful event already, right? It's been such a lovely morning, and it's such an honor and privilege not only to be here, but also to be able to excitingly share our partnership journey. So I'm just grateful for that, and I just want to say thank you to everyone for giving us this opportunity. Um, so if you can hear from my accent, I didn't grow up in India. I grew up in the US. But right after I graduated from college, I moved back to India and I started my journey in a sector called microfinance, which ultimately back in 2005 was the place where we were trying to understand how do we unlock the potential of women? How do we get them access to finance? And how do we do that at a level of scale, which is not about charity, but it's about dignity, it's about markets, and it's about opportunity. Spent 8 years working in that segment as a 20-year-old. Um, I'm now have been doing this for 21 years, so guess my age. But really, the fact is that I was inspired. I was inspired by the resilience of women. I was inspired by the reach and the challenges that, frankly, rural families have, but then also the undeniable opportunity. So, in microfinance, I learned that if you give women the right skills, you give them access to finance, you give them opportunities, they can change the lives of their families, but also their lives of their own futures. Where the gap was and what I guess, inspired me to set up Frontier Markets was that there were still other challenges. So it's not enough to give access to finance to a woman if she doesn't have training, if she doesn't have digital opportunities, if she doesn't have a market, she doesn't have customers that she's actually being able to sell solutions to. So in the context of India, we're talking about 700,000 rural villages in this country. We're talking about 800 million people. And we're talking about 100 million women that are ultimately wanting to be seen, wanting to be able to contribute to the economy, wanting to have an opportunity to change their children's lives. And when I saw the lack of access to services in rural villages where people live, and the hunger that women had of wanting to really contribute to the economy, that was what inspired me to set up Frontier Markets. Can we build a platform that connects products and services and solutions to people where they live, not 30 kilometers away, not 100 kilometers away, but literally in their backyard? And can we do that with a sense of dignity? Because we're not trying to push solutions at them, we're trying to understand who they are and build a partnership. With that said, we said the only way we can do that is by investing in women leaders in between. So today, Frontier Markets has developed a solution that essentially focuses on one, seeing women as talvars. They are really the faces and the conduits of making change happen, but we're giving them the right tools: training, financial literacy, digital literacy, market linkages, and letting them become the solutions for their villages at scale.
Oh, that's so nice. And I'm just going a little bit of off script as well over here because and it's off syllabus. So you've in through this program that you have launched, you've raised about over like $100 million. That's what we read. Is that true?
No, no.
That's
We
the
are a
aspiration.
startup. No. We've raised about $7 million. We've generated $100 million worth of revenue as
Okay.
a organization.
Mhm.
We've helped rural women earn over $25 million of income
Interesting.
across 4 states in
That
the
was
country.
so when you're looking at specifically in the Indian market, and you were just talking about it, the penetration of mobile, UPI, everything is extensive. How did it feel in terms of how did you go about? You still spoke about digital literacy, you spoke about financial inclusion. How did you go about working in the rural areas so that you could actually make them as the levers to, kind of take this program forward? Is that something that just came straight away, or were there any kind of challenges that you had to, or
There
a
are many.
model that you had to
Yeah.
prescribe to?
I mean, let's be honest, nothing working in rural India is easy. Um, I think that we started Frontier Markets in 2012. So 14 years ago, there was no internet connectivity, there was no smartphone penetration, there wasn't even supply chains, there was no electricity.
True.
So, what was true though was that there was the infrastructure of organizations like Apollo Tires and others that built self help groups. So it's why I love your numbers, right? I mean, when you create self help groups, you're creating these women collectives. Policy and government supported that in a really big way. So does CSR. Our job was to understand how can we come in to elevate what already exists. I cannot go into a new village on my own. No one has a clue to who I am. But what we can do is offer an opportunity. 2016-17 was when demonetization also brought in digitization. And
Yes.
all of a sudden, smartphone penetration was real. All of a sudden, internet connectivity was real. We had to create an opportunity to leverage against that. So we were working with Sahelis and we said, if you had access to technology, how would that change your life? And you know what they said? They said, I mean, I can do my work better. I can do it faster. People will see me in a different way. I'll make money. I'll get access to credit. Give me a technology that I want to design. So the Meri Saheli app was designed with, for, and by rural women. It's why today it's in 5 languages. It's vernacular. It's literally made with, for, by, and that's where the scale has happened. And obviously, we'll hear from the Sahelis to talk about how that's impacted them. But one thing I will say is that when you design technology for the people you want to serve, that's game changing. That's really where innovation happens. And that's really where scale happens. You know, when we were doing this work, I created the first 250 Sahelis in Rajasthan. And today we have 40,000 women entrepreneurs across Rajasthan, Gujarat, UP, and
That
Andhra
calls for
Pradesh.
an applause. I would
Right?
just
But also Gujarat because of you. So we'll talk about why it's because of
I-
you. Yeah.
yeah, Gujarat is because of us, and that's
Gujarat
why
is because of you.
totally because we are through you. We are launching this program, She Leads Gujarat, which is where we're taking our program to the next step. But one thing I wanted to share with everyone, and that's something you were very modest. You wouldn't have shared this still. Ajaita got recognized by the Honorable Prime Minister for the work that she's done in this space. And that was last year. And that definitely calls for an applaud because she was handling their Twitter handle. Am I right? during the International Women's Day. Am I right? Okay, great. And I just want to understand now, from here to now, you've done, you've touched about 40,000 women beneficiaries. I would say women entrepreneurs, not beneficiaries, because they're women leaders. That's how we address them. So when we're talking about that, and you have an aspiration to go over 1 million as well, from now to then till about 2030, if you could just highlight what are your plans in growth. Of course, organizations such as ours, Apollo Ties Foundation, we would definitely do anything to take the lead, but obviously there is some kind of limitation in presence as well. So we can or support in terms of She Leads Gujarat and maybe one or two other states where we are working in this sector. But how do can you just navigate us through what your journey of 2030 would look like in
Sure.
terms of reaching the numbers?
I think what's been powerful is that we've been able to build a cookie cutter model. So we understand that there's 100 million women in the self-help group infrastructure, which of course has been designed with the likes of UN Women, with the likes of the National Rural Livelihood Mission, and of course the Honorable Prime Minister, because, on a policy perspective, Nari Shakti, Lakpati Didi, Vikshit Bharat, all of these things are aligned with what we believe in. So getting a chance to be honored by him and taking over his social media handle was intense. But what it did was it allowed us to be recognized by state governments. So we just launched a big partnership with Chandrababu Naidu, for example,
That's right.
in Andhra Pradesh. We're about to launch something in UP because of you, Gujarat, and of course we've been in Rajasthan. So what we see as an opportunity is now to take this to the next level. How do we scale this to multiple states? How do we combine state government, CSR, as well as ground partners to really unlock this potential?
Great.
Creating 1 million women entrepreneurs. If you were not sitting in India and you were sitting in, let's say, a state like Nigeria or somewhere in even Southeast Asia, they would go, "Oh my God, that sounds like a crazy task." And we're like, India has 800 million people. We're 1.43 billion people. We have 100 million women that are hungry to be seen. This is not a large task if it's done in partnership. What do we need? We need partners like you that give us action and direction. I could not have been entering Gujarat had we not been able to leverage the partnership, the amazing team that you have at Apollo, and also the women networks that you already had invested in.
Thank you.
And I think that getting more CSR partners like yours to join this as a massive collaboration, right? Even Gujarat, it needs to be a slew of partners, but you are the
Thank you.
demonstrator.
Thank you.
And I think that's true for every other state, right? Like, why can't we do a She Leads Uttar Pradesh, a She Leads Rajasthan,
Absolutely.
a She Leads Maharashtra, She Leads Bihar? So I think that, but getting your recognition is equally as important when we get the Prime Minister's recognition, because we are on the ground trying to build the how and actually executing it on the ground. So I'm grateful for that.
That's very well said, because you do definitely need partners, and you do definitely need collaboration to go at a scale which is absolutely required. And here we have two of the Sahelis. So I'll kind of leave the stage for you to kind of explain first what's the concept of Sahelis. But I'll introduce. On the right, I have Neeta Parmar. She's the super Saheli. And she's been with Apollo Ties Foundation. We've been working in the livelihood space with both of them. So of course, we'll chat up with them as well. And on my left is Nirali Nice. She's a Saheli. So before I kind of delve into the super Saheli and Saheli, can you just kind of highlight a little bit about what the difference between the two is?
So one thing that's really powerful is about the fact that when you do work with organizations like Apollo Tires that have already created a community of leaders. So you have a community of cadre leaders who themselves have already been earning income. They are skilled. They are community resource people who ultimately know everybody. So when we were coming in to create this model of how do we create women entrepreneurs, Sahelis, women that are running shops, they could be running a tailoring shop, a beauty parlor, a kirana, etc. I don't know how to find them, and I definitely don't know how to convince them to be a part of a new entrepreneurial journey. But when you have community leaders that are already a part of an infrastructure, we said, Why don't we work with those community leaders to drive them? Which is why Nita became a super Saheli, because she's someone who's been institutionally helping recruit women that are running businesses. And so she's not necessarily running a shop herself. She's enabling entrepreneurship in the village in a really big way, which is really powerful, because then what you're doing is that women's collective empowerment element doesn't go away. She doesn't get jealous of another Saheli getting an income opportunity. She has pride. She's saying, because of me, I'm making sure my village goes into another level of taraqi. So super Sahelis are women that are responsible for creating 5 to 10 women entrepreneurs in their own village. They help in training, onboarding them, activating them, hand-holding them. And then Sahelis are our actual entrepreneurs who are running these shops, are digital, and they're servicing their communities with services that otherwise would not be available.
Absolutely. So I thought with one of the section today was also to have a chat with our super Saheli and Saheli. So नीता जी मैं आपसे एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहूंगी. आपने आप बोलिए. आपने सुपर सहेली का मॉडल में शामिल हुए थे अभी थोड़े महीनों पहले. कुछ उसके लिए आपने ट्रेनिंग भी प्राप्त करी है. पर अभी तक का आपका अनुभव क्या रहा है उसको उसमें शामिल होने के लिए?
मेरा अनुभव यही
थोड़ा
रहा
सा
है कि मैं सुपर सहेली ऐप जब डाउनलोड की, मैं उसमें सुपर सहेली
हम्म. I can
तो नीता जी मैं आपसे एक बार एक और सवाल पूछती हूँ, क्योंकि आप पहले भी सीआरपी का काम कर रही थी और पहले भी आप अपोलो के साथ जुड़े हुए थे, तो आपने क्यों तय करा कि मैं ना फ्रंटियर मार्केट्स के साथ जुड़ना चाहते हो, जो आप बोलते हो एफएम एफएम के साथ क्यों जुड़ना चाह रहे थे आप? और शी कॉल्स इट एफएम. एंड और आपको कैसा लग रहा है, मतलब आप वो पहली महिला जो सुपर सहेली बनी थी गुजरात में, और ये मेरी सहेली ऐप का मतलब क्या हुआ? आप इससे पहले क्या करी थी और अब क्या है?
पैसे भी आने लगे, सैलरी इसलिए मैं बहुत खुश थी. आगे रहती हूँ.
वेरी नाइस, वेरी नाइस. निराली जी मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी, वो सुपर सहेली हैं, आप सहेली हो. अब वो आप जैसे सहेलियों को जुड़वाती हैं ऐप में, तो आपका जो अनुभव है सहेली बनकर ऐप के द्वारा, आप कैसे उसको इस्तेमाल करते हो? और जब ऐसे ही और बाकियों को भी आप अपने साथ सहेलियों के साथ काम करते होगे, तो आप बाकियों को जोड़ते नहीं हो, पर आप कैसे अपने जो कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स हैं उनको कैसे सर्विस करते हो?
मैं मेरा भी सवाल एक बार जोड़ देती हूँ ताकि
जोड़
ना,
दो,
क्योंकि
जोड़ दो,
लास्ट लास्ट हो जाए, है
जोड़
ना?
दो.
या तो जैसे इससे पहले आप क्या करती थी और आप फ्रंटियर मार्केट्स का क्यों जुड़ी, क्या सीखा, आप क्या काम क्या करती हैं, आपका बिजनेस क्या है, आपका और उसका बदलावा क्या हुआ है, एक बार थोड़ा इसको ना उस हिसाब से भी एक बार थोड़ा समझा दीजिए।
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम निराली चिराग नाई है। मैं बड़ौदा गुजरात से आई हूँ। मैं जॉइंट फैमिली में हूँ। मेरे 2 बच्चे, हस्बैंड और सास ससुर है। और मैं 2017 से एटीएफ से ज्वाइन हुई। इसमें मैं एक सभ्य थी। और मुझे ना एटीएफ की तरफ से एसएसजी सिलाई मशीन का ट्रेनिंग मिली थी और मुझे सिलाई मशीन भी मिला था। मैं अपने सिलाई मशीन का काम करती हूँ और उसमें अपने बच्चों को संभालना, घर का काम। और एफएम से 3-4 महीने से एफएम से जुड़ी। उसमें जैसे पहले मेरा था कि कभी कभी घर का सामान, मेरे सिलाई का सामान, मुझे बाहर जाने में बच्चों के कारण मैं निकल निकल नहीं पाती थी। कभी कभी इतना किराया, मेरा टाइम नहीं मिल पाता था। पर एफएम के मेरी सहेली ऐप्स आई है, तब से मुझे इतना अपना जीवन इतना सरल हो चुका है कि मेरा घर का सामान, सिलाई का सामान, सारा सामान मेरा घर बैठे आ सकता है, आ जाता है। और मुझे इतना टाइम भी मेरा बच गया, समय बच गया है। और जैसे पहले मुझे अपना सामान बाहर जब मैं बड़ौदा लेने जाती थी तो मुझे बहुत कॉस्टली, महंगा पड़ता था। और मुझे जब से मेरी सहेली ऐप्स आई है तब से मुझे अपना सारा सामान भी सस्ता और सारा मिलने लग गया है। और मेरी 3-4 महीने से मेरी इनकम भी इतनी बढ़ गई है कि अपने बच्चों को मुझे संभालना, जैसे कभी कभी ऐसे बच्चों के लिए मैं बाहर निकल नहीं पाती थी और अभी इतनी इनकम भी अच्छी हुई है कि अपने बच्चों को मैं आगे लेवल बढ़ा सकती हूँ, आगे उनके मतलब स्टडी अच्छी करवा सकती हूँ। बस मेरी सहेली भी है, जो सारी सहेलियां मेरे गांव की है, वो भी गांव का। फिर आपको पता ही है कि कभी कभी उन लोगों का बाहर नहीं निकलने पाते थे सारे जेंट्स, और वो लोग इस बाहर निकल, ये मेरी सहेली ऐप्स के जरिए वो भी अपना घर का सारा सामान घर मंगवाते हैं। और बस मेरी सारी सहेलियां, मैं बस इस अभी जो मैं लेवल पे आई हूँ, मेरा लेवल और आगे बढ़े, मेरी सहेलियां भी मेरे आगे बढ़े। बस मैं एफएम और एटीएफ के खूब खूब आभार, धन्यवाद बोलती हूँ कि जैसे हम लोग आगे बढ़े, मेरी गांव की, मेरे बड़ौदा की सारी सहेलियां हमारे आगे बढ़े।
So nice to hear the real stories. I just wanted to share with everybody. In जैसे आपने सहेली और super सहेली के बारे में सुना, what you heard from them, Ajayata was talking about the kind of the number of women. It's over 40,000. We started this work in Gujarat. We've in the last 6 months with the Polo Ties Foundation, we've reached to about 200 women on training, and our aspiration is to go forward. मैं इनको ये बता रही थी कि अभी हमने 200 महिलाओं की ट्रेनिंग करी है और इसके बाद में हम इसको आगे भी लेके जाना चाहते हैं. So Ajayata, I think overall, I mean, we really privileged and we're really thankful for you to have, had the trust in us and work with us as much as you liking to work with us. We're liking it to work with you as well. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to Ajayata. Thank you, Neeta ji. Thank you to you as well. और आप दोनों को बहुत बहुत बड़ा धन्यवाद. And if you have any last
I
words
just
too.
said the one last word is I remember when I came to Gujarat to do a field visit, and and 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and Shivani let me sleep in the car, um, but it was beautiful and powerful because it wasn't just meeting the Sahelis. We had seen all the work that ATF was doing in Vagordia. So everything from the dairy work to the manufacturing work, the tepla work, and it was so inspiring to see that, and also meeting the field team who's taking photos right now. I see you, but really to see that the commitment to impact is so profound and strong. It's not superficial. And I have to say, we've worked with a lot of CSRs in our past. um, it's very rare to see the full circle of the staff commitment, the ground commitment, and you see the impact. We ate in the organic farm. We had the lunch. We had community lunch. That was the best food I've ever had in my life. And honestly, I think that it just helps us understand that even for us, we like the idea of having long term strengthening partnerships. So stay tuned for our future vision statement on how She Leads Gujarat is going to unfold,
Absolutely.
because we do believe that Apollo, as an anchor partner, will allow us to take Gujarat
Thank
to
you.
scale.
Thank
So
you
thank
so
you.
much for such endearing words. I would say it's not just the communities, it's not just the people who we're working with. Our teams are absolutely right, amazing. But it's also the kind of messaging that we have from the senior management. Because if you do not have the conviction right up there in the board room, it doesn't get cascaded, and it's both ways. So I would just say thank you to everybody, and thank you to Jaita for being with us, and thank you to all of you. We're over to you, Shankar. I don't know
Thank
what
you.
the next
Yeah,
section
so
is.
I request you guys to stay back on the stage, and if it can actually clear, fatafat. To honor and recognize this meaningful collaboration and leadership, I now invite Parinita Singh ji on the stage. She's a seasoned social worker. Her sustained work in women empowerment, tribal welfare, and Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign has driven meaningful grassroots impact. I would want Parinita ji to felicitate the Super Sahili and Ajita Shah. Please. Clear करिए फटाफट. Just be careful. Yeah. बिल्कुल. I request Ajita Shah to kindly also felicitate Parinita Singh. You can hand over the bat and the
This is for you for all your hard work.
वो फोन लेके आऊँ वहाँ से. रेनिका का फोन रह गया वहाँ. किसके लिए? जाओ दो. A mic, please. एक मिनट. ये लीजिए.
हाँ जी.
एटीएफ की वजह से हम यहाँ आए और एफएम के साथ जुड़े। आज हमको बहुत अच्छा लगा और हम दोनों का एटीएफ और एफएम का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कहना चाहते हैं। नमस्ते, नमस्कार।
Thank you. Thank you.
क्या अब क्या दे रहे हो यार?
इसका है.
Ma'am.
Yes. Yeah.
And just
Okay. Yes. Just bolo. But then Renika, you come now.
just join up. A big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Just carry.
आप ही क्रिकेट खेलने वाले हो. यूपी में आप यूपी में क्रिकेट खेलोगे. कैसे करें? तो आपको
अजयता जी को हाथ में पकड़ा दे रही. अरे वो बियॉन्ड चैंपियन के हाथ में था ना. So now I quickly move on to the next session. We now transition to a significant segment of today's program, a panel discussion facilitated by WEP, focusing on the theme Justice in Action, Advancing Equity for Inclusive Futures. This theme is timely and essential, as advancing equity represents a strategic priority for organizations committed to fostering inclusive and resilient workplaces. I now have the pleasure of inviting over Bhumika Panwar, beg your pardon, Program Officer, UN Women India Office, along with our distinguished panelists to kindly join us on the stage. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. Really, really sorry. Let's have a mic. It's on. It's on. थोड़ा move करो.
I'm gonna just take my name and change my seat.
Ma'am. Ma'am. एक और दे दीजिएगा. एक और दीजिएगा. Join कर. Please join. I request Bhumika to now take the session forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before I start my session today, मैं सभी दीदी और सहेलियां जो यहाँ पे प्रस्तुत हैं, मैं उन सबको बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ देना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि आप सभी के काम से ना सिर्फ मैं बल्कि हम सब जो आज यहाँ प्रेजेंट हैं बहुत बहुत प्रभावित हैं, बहुत बहुत प्रोत्साहित हैं. सो आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ इस मंच तक आने के लिए. Congratulations. आप सभी हम सबको इंस्पायर करते हैं. So good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you for this very important discussion under the theme Justice in Action, Advancing Equity for Inclusive Futures. So we know that for all these businesses, gender equality is not just human rights or women's rights. It is also business imperatives for all these companies. Companies who are diverse, are more innovative, more resilient, are better positioned for sustained futures. And yet, despite these evidence, they're still facing a lot of gaps and a lot of challenges, such as women's participation in those leadership roles, women's participation in the STEM and manufacturing sectors, just like Apollo and Schneider Electric, and their visibility in those high growth sectors as well. So when we speak about justice in action, it is not just speaking about the intent, but it's also about speaking the systems as well. So justice in action means that moving beyond commitments on paper. It means that embedding equity in those daily conversations and decisions that shape the whole organizations, right from recruitment, right from procuring, right from marketing, promoting, and measuring and reporting as well. So back in 2010, UN Women and with UN Global Compact, we launched a very strong flagship initiative, which is called as Women Empowerment Principles, also called as WEPs. So these are 7 set of principles to guide these private sector organizations to look at their policies and practices from gender lens and across these marketplace, workplace, and communities as well. So broadly speaking, Principle 1 to Principle 4 talks about workplace interventions, whereas all these leaders comes into the picture. It talks about non-discrimination. It talks about leadership commitment, equal opportunities, and creating those safe and enable workplaces and creating those systems to prevent harassment in the workplaces as well. Principle 5 talks about marketplace interventions, which talks about breaking those stereotypes in the media and the marketing campaign by creating those some positive portrayals around men and women by the medium of maybe campaigns and all, and also how consciously these companies are procuring from those women-owned businesses by investing in women or strengthening their supply chain as well. So both Principle 5 also touches the aspects of supply chain and procurement. Principle 5 is all about how well these companies, are investing their corporate social responsibility in all these gender initiatives. Whereas the last principle, which is one of those important and underrated principle, which is measuring and reporting, that how loudly these companies are, talking about their progress around gender initiatives which they are taking, because progress must be tracked. Today, we have more than 12,000 CEOs who have committed to women empowerment principles globally. And in India, we have more than 500 signatories who have signed WEPs. And today, we have leaders joining from various organizations like engineering, manufacturing, and advisory sectors that shape economies, influence cultures, and define the future of work. So with that framing, let me move from principle to practice, and let's welcome our first panelist, Lipika Verma, VP HR, Schneider Electric. Huge round of applause, please. Okay. So, Lipika, my question to you is, like, in a technical and engineer-led organizations like Schneider, we know that real progress goes far beyond hiring more women. So from your experience, like, what practical changes, whether in how talent is identified, how plans are made more inclusive, or how leaders actively sponsor all these women, have really helped these women move into those core technical and decision-making roles? Over to you.
earmark those positions to get females in the organization. Alongside, I think there's been a lot of work done in the area of development of women, and therefore, as I mentioned, right from the initial stage of their joining to the stage later on, there's a lot of emphasis on how we empower them, how do we make them succeed in the organization to get to the level we are. Lastly, just before I hand it back to you, Bhumika, one piece that I'm particularly super proud of is around getting more women in sales. And for a manufacturing and energy technology organization like that of Schneider Electric, getting women in sales is no easy feat, right? It's a very hard, difficult sales that we do. It's a lot of technical sales that we do. We deal with a lot of retailers, panel vendors, contractors, electricians, and so on and so forth. And it's not an easy deal. And therefore, we launched something called WINS, which is Women in National Sales, and that's a very specific program for promoting and getting in women in the sales population. That's something that I'm driving currently, and I hope we will see a lot of success on that program in the coming years. So, a lot of interventions, a lot of focus, but yes, there is a buy-in from the boardroom, from the top executives to reach where we have reached today as an organization. Back to you.
That's great, Ripika. I think what stands is that it's not just about hiring and reaching out to those targets, but also building an entire pipeline. And it's great to see the kind of work Schneider is doing by achieving those percentage, not in just increasing numbers of women in the organization, but also increasing the frontline workers as well as leadership participation and replacing women candidate by just, again, by women. So that's a great thing to see what Schneider is doing. It's an intentional design, which I can see by bringing women not just into the organization, but also giving them those enabling environment to succeed and grow and take up those more leadership and decision-making roles. So congratulations, Lipika, on that. Follow up to that question, I will ask you second question. Under the WEBS framework, measurement is critical. So what is one indicator beyond representation numbers that give you confidence that gender equality is becoming embedded in Schneider's electric culture?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, Bhumika. And let me just cite a story over here because I think people will be able to relate to it. Because equity, it takes years to kind of get there. As you know, organizations, we all know that we can talk about equity, we can talk about empowerment, but it's not. It doesn't come very easy. There's a lot of conscious effort that we need to put in. And as Schneider Electric, when in 2014-15, we were looking at our data globally, we realized that we are not gender pay equitable from a compensation standpoint. So in a lot of countries, including India, we saw, female employees being lower in terms of compensation as compared to male employees. However, the scene was slightly different. For example, in France, we saw men at a lower compensation than women. And that is, a lot of people get surprised, but it is what it is. And we tried for multiple years through multiple interventions saying, okay, during the global salary review, during promotions, during this, that, the other, we will try and correct salaries. We kept doing it for 9-10 years, but the needle wasn't moving. And this was part of our ambition as part of SSI that I talked about. And I was leading rewards and performance for Schneider.
And I just kept thinking that how do we solve this? Because it hasn't been easy as a problem for us. We tried for multiple years. The solution wasn't coming. And one fine day, I just thought, let me try something with the help of technology. And I got the digital team to develop a tool for us, which will help us guide the decision making at the time of offer process, at the time of promotions, and at the time we are getting any woman to change the role in the organization. And with that particular technology coming in, we were able to scale it at an international level across all countries. And very, very happy to share that by December end of 2023, with the coming up of that technology solution and the intent that we had for many, many years altogether, we were able to become pay equitable at Schneider Electric level globally. And I'm talking about 160,000 employees. So it's no small jokes, right? And the best part was we were working very, very closely with UN Global Compact, and we did present this to World Economic Forum because World Economic Forum really talked about the fact that it would take 132 years for the world to become equitable. And we, over a period of time, with constant efforts and endeavor, we were able to become pay equitable in a span of exactly 1 year through the use of technology in this case. And very happy to share again that we were called out as the lighthouse in pay parity by World Economic Forum in 2023. So that's one example, Bhumika, I really wanted to share, which is very close to my heart.
Congratulations, Lipika, by getting acknowledgement from World Economic Forum. I think representation tells us who's in the room, but when you talk about pay parity, it talks about how companies values these workforce in their organization, and especially focusing on those gender pay parity is it sends a very strong signal by Schneider Electric that it is embedded in the leadership culture rather than just speaking about. So congratulations, Lipika. Moving to our second panelist, who is our Mahalakshmi, who is the CHRO Apollo Tires. Firstly, congratulations on being the web signatories and on your journey. So Maha, my question to you is, like, sales and manufacturing continues to be one of those underrepresented sectors of women. So what structural interventions has Polo introduced, whether it's on shop floors, whether with plant policies or across supplier networks, to translate these commitment into real equity in actions as web signatories as well? Like, how is Apollo addressing those low women's participation through those workplace policies and practices and leadership pipelines and safety for inclusive measures and features?
Thank you so much. And firstly, compliments to Lipika. I mean, again, I think today is my day of going back with hope. So I think if we can transform metrics in a year, I go back with even more hope. So compliments. So firstly, I mean, yes, coming back to one of the things that we are very intentional about at Apollo Tires is just to look at equity and diversity as a representation number. We are doing that, but to make sure that it doesn't stop there and we don't do the easy representation numbers. And therefore, I think one of the numbers I do painfully track, and I have two members of the team sitting here, I do painfully track, let me see the numbers in sales and let me see the numbers in manufacturing. As someone who's joined 7 months ago, I'll take zero credit, but I'm going to ask Onam and Rima to probably stand up. So what I understand is from almost zero representation, in commercial a few years ago, today we are inching up in the last couple of years to around 15%. And that's something that has happened not just in terms of onboarding women in commercial, but also ensuring that there are enough and more opportunities to stay and grow. And as people who have the ability to influence policy, we have a lot of listening opportunities to really understand what do women want, why do they want it, versus doing a copy paste of the most shall we say, shiny new policy that's happening around us. Menstrual leave was an example, right? When companies are going into the media saying, we are launching menstrual leave. But when you really go into the shop floor and ask, saying, will you apply if we put up that? No, So how do we just make the monthly thing a natural process? God made us this way, and it's just as simple as me combing my hair and brushing my teeth, So I think we are trying to make some of those shifts which are beyond just the numbers. That's one. The second one, and it's a symbolic step that we take as we get into Women's Day celebrations, we are really striving for gender neutrality. I think this will be the first year that we will not do let's all invite all the women and say nice things. We want to recognize women and celebrate them, but we also want to really recognize men who've really been advocates of diversity, because we do want to celebrate and make role models so that then they want to do that more, right? We do want the support, and we want more and more men to want to support, all kinds of diversity. And since it's Women's Week, we're talking about women. But truly, I mean, I joined this company because I did a due diligence and saw the leadership team had people representing different nationalities. In my first month, I saw people who are introverted and extroverted, both getting a similar voice and getting heard. And those are some of the things that we are trying to foster. In manufacturing, lastly, we are really trying to see how do we make sure that it's not just, so we are beginning to hire equal number of trainee women and men, but we are really trying to see how do we make sure that their ability to work on the shop floor is seamless. Do we have the same number of restrooms? Do we have the same number of changing rooms? So we are trying to get in touch with them, understand what matters, and do small and big things. Another initiative, and I know Rima led this over the last year and a half, was to go and look at our distributor points and say, are there clean restrooms? Can we give them P-buddies so that, if there's no restroom on a long sales path, they can make it because, women do need a clean, closed restroom. And we don't want to create manure, free manure for the nature. So, jokes apart, ensuring basics is one. Making sure that we sign and make big numbers happen and we can talk to the board is another. And creating that whole ecosystem where people feel they want to be part of this movement is, I think, the third. I think those are 3-4 things we are doing inside. Outside, we saw, I think, so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Maha. That's very encouraging, especially the numbers of percentage of 15%, especially in tires and manufacturing industries where we see very few lesser participation of women. And you're talking about obviously men as allies. It's very important to have men as allies with all of us to run the overall gender equality agenda. And I understand the criticalities when you talk about shop floors, because it is not just about their safety, but also sometimes because the day-to-day conversations happens with the supervisors. So until unless those supervisors are not gender sensitized, it becomes very difficult for a women to actually not only stay in the system but grow in that system as well. So we need to have those, because Apollo being in the tire and manufacturing industries, we need to have more mentors like you to handhold these women to get into those leadership roles as well, because in STEM there are like very few women who are actually in those leadership roles. So we need more mentors like Apollo, like Snyder, Shweta, everyone, all of you, to come forward and handhold these women, push them into those leadership roles as well. So thank you so much, Maha. My second question to you is, like, Apollo supports women cricket, and congratulations on today's event as a visibility platform. So how do you ensure that this external commitment is matched by those measurable internal progress for women in operations and leadership?
No, absolutely. I think we don't mean it lightly when we say har safar mein dum hai. I think we are trying to make it as much an internal war cry as much as, we may be talking about it externally. Not just for visibility, but for actually true impact. I'm really proud that we are not just sponsors of the, the very famous men's, cricket thing. We are also sponsors of under 18 and the women's team. And guess what? The women got us the cup, The women have already got us the World Cup. I know Anjum's somewhere here, and I'm not a cricket person, but I mean, a hat tip to the coaches and a hat tip to the women who have actually broken the stereotype, just as internally we talk about breaking the stereotype in the shop floor and in the sales. Cricket is a place where all these women have broken stereotypes, shown that, hum kar sakte hain, and not just gotten trained into a classical male sport, but, actually gone to represent the country, get us the cup, and I think as an Indian, I think my heart swells with pride to see that. So all of that and more is what we are hoping to stand for as Apollo Tires.
Congratulations, Maha. I think that's very important to break those stereotypes कि हम लड़कियां भी कुछ कर सकती हैं, सिर्फ मार्केट स्पेस पे नहीं, बट सारे स्पेस पे, वर्क प्लेस कम्युनिटीज एंड मार्केट प्लेस दोनों पे. सो कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस बाय इन्वॉल्विंग नॉट जस्ट योर women internally in the organization, but also working externally with women cricketers at Loud. So thank you so much, Maha. So my next panelist and the last panelist is Shweta Verma, who is the Senior Director and DNI Lead PwC. So Shweta, my question to you is like, under the theme Justice in Action, we often say that equity must begin long before leadership levels. And you know that PwC has recently onboarded and signed those mentors, ITI girls through this Compass platform with UN Women. So could you share like why investing in mentorship at this stage matters and how structured mentorship really can bridge those gap between those skilling, confidence building, and long-term career progression for all these young women, especially entering those non-traditional sectors?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Let me just begin by saying a few things. One, when we talk of mentorship, I just want to, there are two principles when we really look at, and for me personally, when we look at mentorship, any program, and there are two principles that you really think about. Mentorship is not about helping anybody. So it's not just a benevolence or a support or something that you do as charity. It's a means that you are creating or you're correcting the structural imbalance that exists. So I just definitely wanted to call out this very strong principle. The second principle that I really truly believe is that talent is universal, access is not. So when we bring in a program, a mentorship program, you are making sure, or you're creating an effort that access becomes a bit more easy than it is for everybody. Now, with these principles, what are we trying to do? And of course, as you said that, we are signatories for WEP. We recently signed up for a program called Compass Equilibrium, where we are mentoring our employees are mentoring women from ITIs. So internally for us, mentoring is a way we are trying to say that, okay, there are three gaps that exist. So, and any program that you say, look at, one is, that confidence gap. The second is just the navigating gap, if I can say that. And then of course, if you don't role modeling gap, or if I don't want to call it a gap, but if you don't have role models that are in senior positions, and if they don't have that visibility, how will people aspire? Like women in ITIs are all trained, they have the skills, but they don't have the ability to visualize the women at that top roles, and which is what organizations like us bring to these women through the program like the UN Women has orchestrated. So for us, women, for mentoring program is bridging these gaps. How are you ensuring that the women have the skill set? We are helping them build that confidence by saying that you be ambitious and this is the pathway to achieve this. And we are telling you that we're instilling that confidence in you by access to leaders, by understanding their journeys. And in PwC, what we did was we realized this pretty early to say that, okay, while we are looking at the top level, the women across the various levels, but if we don't focus on the mid levels, then we will not be able to look at the number of women at the top partner levels or ED levels later and say that, okay, we are not achieving, because that is a critical pipeline, that is a critical pool that we can't allow to leak. And therefore, we set on this path of providing various programs, whether it's called a women mentoring program, a leap to lead. We have several programs that we run internally. And these are all voluntary programs. We don't ask we don't push the women into the programs. We open it up for women managers, senior managers to say that these are access that you have. Choose your own mentor that you think will support you in your journey at the stage that you are in, and look at the leader that really inspires you to work towards your goal or align with your goals. And we've seen that over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been focusing on this. And while PwC has grown in the last 3 years, we've doubled our headcount. We are 32,000 plus in the country now. And when we started on this journey on focusing on our middle levels, we were only 20% women in the managerial levels out of this 18,000 that we have. today, while we have grown to 36,000, we are 36% women, 32,000, and we are 36% women overall. But in the managerial pipeline, which is so difficult to move, we have moved 5% in the last 4 years of all of these programs. And we have great feedback from our women folks to say that, okay, this is helping us in our career pipeline. So I think these programs, and of course, different level of programs work for senior women. Mentoring works up to a certain level, and sponsorship kicks in. So that's what we have done internally. And I do want to call out that frameworks like WEP are very powerful for us. They provide us leverage for leaders like us who are pushing this agenda within the organization to say that globally we have support. In India, we have support. There is so much to learn from the organizations that are doing. And here is a framework that's helping us create that nudge and push. So thank you for all the work that UN Women does. Us, we have been able to work closely with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. One thing is very clear that mentorship can be a huge bridge between the aspirations and the opportunities, not just about skill building, but also confidence building, which really helps these women to sustain in the organization and move into those, leadership roles as well. And I do understand your conversation is not just about individual, focusing on those individual programs, but also building the entire ecosystem. So congratulations, Shweta. I know I got a click and a clock.
I know, I'm seeing that.
Renika. So as we close today's discussion, one message is very clear, loud and clear, that justice and action is not just one-time effort. It is a continuous improvement. It is also about identifying those gap areas. It is about developing those practical action plans and, working towards strengthening those systems over the period of time. So thank you so much, my dearest panelists, for taking time, for your leadership. Thank you so much. And my dear audience as well.
I'd request all of you to stay back. Thank you for this insightful discussion. I'd request Maha ma'am to actually felicitate all the three panelists, and please kindly remove the chairs from behind. It just says panelists. Yeah. A quick photo op.
We also have bats for each one of you, but I will just possibly give it over here in the paucity of time.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I'm just asking everybody to इसको हटा लीजिए. Come here. रखो. Yes, सब क्या? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving to one of the most anticipated highlights of today's event. It's my honor to invite Anjum Chopra, former captain of Indian women's cricket team, whose extraordinary journey has redefined excellence, resilience, and leadership in Indian sport. Hmm. A big round of applause for Anjum Chopra joining us on the stage. A pioneering figure, sorry, in women's cricket. Anjum has led, Hanji, has led the national team with distinction and has played a transformative role in elevating visibility and recognition for women in sports in India. Her journey is a powerful testament to determination, courage, and perseverance, and truly reflects Apollo Tyres' powerful belief that har safar mein dam hai. Yeah, may I request Anjum Chopra to kindly join? She is already there. So, ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for her, and over to you, Rinika.
So, good afternoon, everyone, again. Thank you, Anjum. I think in the paucity of time and everything, I'll try and make you speak more and I'll speak less. Just to, I know you're going to, this time one
नहीं,
liner
नहीं,
coming.
ऐसी बात नहीं है. I think you should speak more because मेरे को आप सुन लेते हो. So it's very nice to hear you.
No, you've heard a lot about Apollo Tires Foundation and Apollo Tires. So, in terms of overall, we were just talking about it, International Women's Day, which is Give to Gain, and that is one of the relevant themes where we have started. And I spoke to you about NAAM as well when we were chatting at the back side, back door. We spoke about how Give to Gain is about giving an opportunity to a woman so that there is progress, and there are within the opportunity she takes that opportunity and they participate, but they don't just participate, they excel. And that's the whole Give to Gain concept about, but also saying that we kind of interlinked and interweaved it with NAAM because that's where you will see some of our 8 beneficiaries who are here. I won't say 8 business leaders because we identify those leaders based on their skills and based on what name they've given their communities. But going back, I mean, like in terms of you're done such an immense work in cricket. So we kind of link it with cricket and see that what it was earlier to what it is now. And you've been, through the reams, and you've been throughout all these years, you've actually, from 2000s when you started to play, it did not have that kind of visibility. You've been the former captain, you're an author, you're a commentator now. There's lots of stuff that you have so many feathers in your cap at the moment. So when we talk about your journey from then to now, where the opportunity was not as much and the platform wasn't there. So can you just take us through and navigate us what it was like? And here I would just highlight one comment over here, which I read in one of your interviews, where there was this mention that एक लड़की ने एक लड़के की बॉल पे चौका कैसे मार दिया. So I read that, going from that particular point to now, where Indian cricket takes such immense precedence, and it's kind of taken the pivotal its shape and pivotal form. So how did it go about? Can you just take us through that, please?
So obviously it starts with the success story, and the success story, we're all aware of the women's team lifting the World Cup. So I think every story needs a champion, and there on the eve, or not on the eve, I was telling Harman, I said we take 2 days to win a World Cup. So on the 2nd November and the 3rd of November, we celebrated, and the celebrations went on, and we're very proud about it as well. So obviously the success has driven um, everything else, how we, where we are today and where we aspire to be as a team and as a nation, cricketing nation, as a women's team, is also with the fact the result that has come our way. But like in any field, in any sport, or in any walk of life, there is always a challenge. So very important theme that you have, giving the opportunity, gift gift to gain, right? So it's I won't say just the gift, it's about giving a opportunity so that you can gain. And like every person, I won't say just a male or a female, but then, because we always talk about limited opportunities to women, I won't say no opportunities, I'll say limited opportunities. You get that, and you have to succeed, obviously. And when you say that you have to succeed every time. It's not about once, it's about every time. And you can only be judged on that performance. So uh, each time you're given an opportunity, or I was given an opportunity, my job was not only to excel, but also to hope that I get the next opportunity, because there are limited ones. It doesn't obviously come in easy. Persistence pays is a nice quote, but then in the field of sport, because obviously we're talking about the sport, so it helps. You have to just, even if you score 100, you have to go back the next day and do the same drill that you've done over and over the past months and weeks. You have to still go back and do the same drill, so that the next game that you play, you're able to score, or you start scoring, because you can still be dismissed early.
So that's what, having said that, I mean, you said that giving the opportunity, and when you started, and there were times when you actually looked at your performance as well. Just linking it to the overall percentage of sports. So when we talk about then and now, the women representation in sports is always, was lower then, and now also it's not something very significant, but things are changing. So I just wanted to understand what exactly is the change about, and is there anything that still needs to be addressed? Because obviously you said in terms of opportunity, which was, that time, which weren't there. Do you have more opportunities now? What exactly has changed?
See, opportunities were there earlier also. Opportunities are there today also. The only thing which has changed is the public perception. And I won't say it's changed drastically and overnight, but yes, the fuel to changing of perception has been assisted by the winning of the World Cup. And that has absolutely been the essential element. So when we reached the finals in 2005 and you lost in South Africa in 2005, people knew about it, but only the sport lovers knew about it. When we lost the final in 2017 in England, more than plenty knew about it, and it was celebrated. So I was telling the girls one day, I said, this is probably the first time that we're actually celebrating a loss. Normally we celebrate champions, but we actually celebrated a loss, because we lost to England in 2017 to a game we should have won, but we were celebrated. So from there on to 2025, and it was obviously a home World Cup, when we've crossed the line, and it was like a proper win. It wasn't that somebody gave us a walkover, or we won because of a net run rate. No, it wasn't like that. It was a proper victory. So when you look at the opportunities, I think the perception now has become a lot better, because you won't detest a young girl going to a game of cricket, or you won't detest a young girl going to a playground, irrespective of what sport she plays. So slowly and steadily, things will obviously improve. But because we're a large nation and we only associate with champions, it's the truth of it. There are no prizes for second place. So the more champions we are, in the more number of sports that we will obviously get the more people following us and the more people recognizing us. And that is, in my view, the only way to go.
Thank you. So what would be your message to, you spoke about the young women coming into sports and getting into more sports. So, and mostly there's a huge kind of stress levels as well. They're really high. So what would be your message to the young women? Because some of the times you actually, you're grown up with lots of expectations, and there's this imposter syndrome as well. So what would be your message for the young women who are looking to sports as one of, as a profession?
So challenges are always there, whether we say that it's a stress or we say whether it's a pressure or whatever. I mean, there are challenges. From the moment you get up to the time you sleep, you're always faced with challenges, and they can be in any form. But like, I can just tell you about myself. Like, my parents have always said, what is your goal? And if the goal has to be achieved, then you have to do everything in your purview to making sure that you achieve that goal. So if the target has to be achieved, it has to be achieved. There is no way that you can't achieve it. Now, either I bang my head against those challenges or I make my way around those challenges to getting to my target, to getting to my goal. So I chose the latter, because there's no point moving a rock, because that wouldn't move. So I personally had to weave my way around, and I'm sure so many others also do that. So even today, it's what is the target? What is the goal? How can I get to my target? The target won't shift, the goal won't change. I only have to make my way there.
So having said that, I mean, the target won't change and you have to move around to make sure that you reach the goal. So there's this thing about which they say, coming back to just to linking it with the theme as well. If a woman is given the right opportunity, she'll redesign the opportunity. That's the saying that goes with it. So when the target is not to be shifted and you're still like, moving towards it, are there any, of course, there are certain examples from your own life, but is there anything that you would like to share with the audience over here, which in your past you've done, or somebody else's example that you would like to talk about, where this kind of resonates? When you give the opportunity, they redesign the opportunity.
Our sport is a big example to that. Obviously, the opportunities didn't come easy. I mean, we've had a change of association. We were a Women's Cricket Association of India. Prior to that, we were something else. And then a group of women started playing the sport. They stayed invested in playing that sport to one final day.
Final day when they've actually seen a women's team captain lifting that World Cup. It took us more than 50 years lifting that World Cup. But if a dream wasn't seen by those women who were the part of that first team in 1971, none of us would have been there. So I can only say that, and I'm seeing
very much in my profession or around it as well. And I don't tend to compare anyone's hard work or anyone's desire to excel between a male and a female. I've never said, and I never believe in this fact that because a male cricketer gets X, the female cricketer should not be given X or should not be given Y. I just feel that if you're good enough, let there be parity in everything. So my only view is that you have to give if you give an opportunity to a female. I've seen that very much, that they make sure that the job is well done. And I have one colleague of mine who's here in the audience, and I've seen that happen. You give the lady a job to do to the T, the perfection will come through, and the role will be played. You give a male a job, yes, the role will be played very well. It's not that, but the small nuances will be adhered to and will be addressed when you give a lady a job. So those are the subtle differences. It's not that it's a challenge. No, they're just subtle differences.
So thank you, Anjum. Subtle differences. What I did was, because obviously we're conscious of the time, and what I did was, rather than asking you more questions, which we'll open up to the panel, the audience as well. But I have one-liners for you first, and then we'll move on to the audience as well. We're okay with time, Shankar? We're okay with time at the moment, right? Okay. So it's just a couple of things we put together. So what did cricket give you that no classroom did?
Freedom. It was such a free world on the cricket ground. I only loved the back door of my class.
So if not cricket, what would your alternate career be?
I would have been a sports person. I used to play other sports as well. I've played basketball for the state as well for my college, St. Stephen's, too. So I would have pursued one of the sport and ensured tried to get to the Indian team as well. So I would have definitely been a sports person.
Oh, it's definitely a sports person. Which sport would it be? Yes.
So cricket has always been discussed in my house since my childhood. I've only heard names of cricketers. I think it could have been basketball, it could have been athletics, it could have been any sport for that matter. But yes, these are the sport in my school also I used to play. In fact, in school I used to play every sport as long as I was out of class.
Ah, okay. So that's why you said about the first answer, freedom. If your cricket journey had a title, what would it be?
Well, I was asked this some time back when they had to put a caption on the gate in Firozshah Kotla. So I said, follow your passion. For my, I mean, it can be a few. I always say dare to dream should be one of them, but follow the passion is something that I've always felt very close to.
That's our tagline as well. So follow the passion. And I think in the interest of time, just last question. If there was a biopic being made on your life, which actress would you choose?
So I always feel Rani Mukherjee should do justice. And I've always told her that she's already acted in one of the cricket movies already.
Mhm.
But next time that cover drive needs to be hit in a more better manner.
Okay. So we can just, I think on that note, I can just open one question from the audience and then we'll move to the practice net because I believe you have to leave.
Practice net तो करा दी सबकी practice मैंने.
अभी नहीं कराई है आपने. 8 women की नहीं कराई है.
अभी औरों ने खेलना है.
The 8 women that are they are sitting at this point in time.
उनकी नहीं
आपके लिए
कराई
wait
है.
कर रहे हैं आपके लिए.
So I'd open it to the audience, just
yes.
one question, and then we will, if there is any question, otherwise we will wind up the session. तब तक मैं पूछ लूं, मेरी टीम ना. अच्छा, ठीक है. Who would win a debate, Captain Anjum or a commentator Anjum?
देखो जी, डिबेट की जहाँ बात आती है ना, वहाँ पे एक ही बंदा जीतता है.
Anjum. So that brings me to the last question, which actually fits very well. Who is Anjum when lights are off?
Same.
Oh my God.
But yes, when lights are off, then I just sleep.
That's a good one.
Good one. Any questions or should we just, okay, I have been told by my team, wind up. So we're going to move. Thank you so much, Anjum,
My pleasure.
for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here, to host you here. It's really, I mean, to hear your story. And for more, aspiring leaders like yourself. And I still, again, say this one thing. You have got so many feathers in your cap. When I was reading about your bio, I was just thinking, what is that you do not do? So I hope everyone, all of us, we can take a chapter from your, leaf from your chapter and then, kind of emanate it going forward.
No, the only word I can come back to your answer is
emulate
is the part that there's always room for more.
There's always, and go for your passion. That's what it is. That's the key takeaway.
Okay,
Thank you
Renika,
so
I
much.
just ask you guys to hold back.
Okay.
Yeah? It's my privilege to also call upon stage Lakshmipuri ma'am to kindly come on stage to felicitate Anjum Chopra and share her thoughts and reflections on today's event. You can also have the mic. Sit over, ma'am. Sit, please, ma'am. Can
I should speak from there.
yeah, comfortably sitting, Yeah.
As well. अब ये free नहीं है.
I'll just request you guys to a quick word.
So first of all, I think I have to convey my admiration for our very inspiring guest today, and the journey that she has traversed, not only for women in sports, but also women in India. Because sports is an area which has been male dominated, also traditionally in most societies. And when I was with UN Women, this is something that we used to promote right from the beginning. We went to the Olympics, we went to FIFA, we went to all the sports organizations to engender sports as a area where women must have equal space, voice, participation, leadership, and of course equal recognition. I think that is a very important aspect, and I think your journey, you have been a pioneer. Pioneers often have arrows at the, as they say, at their back, because they prepare the ground for the 2025 victory, because if you had not prepared the ground, that would not have come. So congratulations on being, and thank you for being there and inspiring so many little girls all over India to pick up the bat and ball and go forward, and to see sports not only as a hobby, not only as a getaway like you did in a way to from school, but to see it as a profession, as a calling, as a passion, as much as a calling. And I think also this is now borne out that women sports, athletes, others, I think also the government and Modi ji has been very, very supportive of India being Khelo India, you know, taking that forward. So thank you. And it is a great inspiration, but I just want to say a few things about this whole program and what Apollo Tires is doing. I'm very proud. I'm an independent director in Apollo Tires. I'm very proud that it has made gender equality and women's empowerment a central part of its CSR and you know, corporate social responsibility initiatives. It has not only targeted programs, but also other programs. They have mainstreamed women empowerment programs. So this is something I'm very happy about, and I want to congratulate. Are they here? The
They're all at
they
the
they have
pitch,
already gone there. But okay, but I just want to say a big vandan to them and abhinandan to them, and congratulate them on this. And you know, this ek naam that you have, there's a beautiful shabad which is
Okay.
about ek naam guru kolo mang lai. So you are acting in some ways as that guru, and the partners, both the government partners, the private sector partners, the social civil society partners who are becoming part of your you know, the movement and driving a movement, I think is very important. Advocacy, movement, action. And I want to say that this Ek Naam is also about rights, recognition, respect, role, resources, and representation. Adhikar, Manyata, Samman, Bhumika, and others, you know, the ideals that you represent and the role models you represent, but also what roles you perform in different spaces. I think that that is very important about NAAM. And then Sansadhan, resources, and Pratinidhitva, representation. So I think all of that, I'm so happy also that you have partnered with UN Women and the WEPs, all the companies that have signed up WEPs, because WEPs women's empowerment principles and companies. It's about how you demonstrate your support for gender equality and women's empowerment in intention, in action, and in priority within your company, in the marketplace, and in the community. So you have demonstrated, Apollo Tires and other partners that you convened today, that you are doing that. Thank you very much. And let there be more replication of this. Let this be a lighthouse program that gets replicated and scaled up everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful words, ma'am. Looking at the time, so I just now invite all NAAM awardees and special guests and dignitaries to join us for fun-filled cricket at the nets with Anjum Chopra. Yeah, please, ma'am. I think everybody is there already, is it? Okay. Hello. And I request rest of us to break for lunch. Yeah, the lunch is being served at the patio there. Thank you.
Apollo Tires believes rural women are central to household and community well-being. Yet, limited access to resources restrict the livelihood potential.
I like those people who are clear in their concerns. This is I like those people who are clear in their concerns.
Actually, excuse me, side
हाँ कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मैं इधर क्या और आप सबको मुबारक हो
मैम आप साइड नहीं कैमरा ये ले मैम पीछे बड़ी जगह बनवा रहे हैं
You're bowling or batting now? Like this is now you will bat. नहीं नहीं
बेल्स लगा दे बेल्स लगा दे फिर नहीं
bowling. Yes, bowling नहीं bowling
सीधे मत
आज ही मैच बोलिए ना संतोष सारा लगाओ बोलो हमें बोल दो लगा रहे हैं आप बोलिए बोलो हाँ हाँ बोलिए बोलो ना जोर से, जोर से बोलो, जोर से बोलो। जीतेगा भाई जीतेगा, इंडिया जीतेगा, जीतेगा भाई जीतेगा, इंडिया जीतेगा। जोर से बोलो। ऐसा जोर से बोला जैसे वो बोला ही नहीं। कौन मना कर रहा है? अरे कैसे कर जाएगा? आप सोचिए।
सब दिख रहे हैं?
यस मैम। वेट वेट थोड़ा सा साथ में आ जाइए।
Okay, yes, look here.
Hold.
Thank you.
I told you to get a picture with him. I told you.
That's seven.
Then I was going to
That's seven.
हाँ हम पीछे थे मैंने बोला कि
फटाफट काटो ना, जल्दी करो। नहीं हमसे चलो खाने फटाफट
सहेली
एक मिनट। हाँ हाँ एक मिनट जाए जल्दी। अच्छा नहीं करना हाँ जल्दी फटाफट जाए जल्दी। हाँ हाँ एक मिनट लेने का।
सहेली कहाँ पे है? चलो फ्रंट के आखिरी सहेली
आ गए।
मैम
आप इधर आ जाइए, थोड़ा सा मैम शिफ्ट हो जाए।
और तो कोई नहीं बचा।
Okay, yes, look here.
जो भी है
Wait करना, wait. Thank you.
थैंक यू।
मेरा फोन
मैम दीदी थोड़ा आगे आ जाओ, आगे आ जाओ। थोड़ा सा पीछे रखो। थैंक यू।
हाँ जी आइए ना।
दोस्त आजा फाउंडेशन टीम मैडम
ये वाला तो 5 minutes to finish all the
Thanks, introduction. Oh my God! Amirji, thank you.
चलेगा बिल्कुल चलेगा। आइए आइए आराम से आ जाइए, तसल्ली से हमको कैमरा लगाने दीजिए, कोई पैनिक नहीं, जल्दी बता रही है। चलो
मैं मैडम पीछे आ रहा हूँ।
जल्दी 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 जल्दी
भैया भैया थोड़ा फोन पीछे ले आओ।
दिखाई नहीं देगी। बैठ जाओ।
Please come. Come. Sit.
Okay, yes, look here.
नहीं आ रहे हैं
हर सफर में दम है।
हम भी आ रहे हैं।
आ जाओ आ जाओ
हैं?
आइए सर आइए। मैम 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 थोड़ा सा पीछे आ जाएंगे प्लीज, थैंक यू। हाँ जी हाँ जी, ओके यस लुक हियर। हाँ भैया थोड़ा पीछे आ जाए। भैया भैया हेलो भैया थोड़ा पीछे आ जाओ। ओके यस लुक हियर।
रोहित अरे Ethan come
Rohit, they're calling you. Rohit, they're calling you. Rohit,
who has dared to call me here?
I called.
सर यस हाँ जी सर आप इधर आ जाइए ना। आबा एक फोटो एक। ओके यस थैंक यू। वॉच सब्सक्राइब शेयर करो।
मेरी
भी की था मेरे तो बिल्कुल
कैमरा से खींचूं?
नहीं नहीं इससे खींचो।
आप देख अरे क्या हो गया डाटा तो बस यहाँ
अरे फोन से सही है
दोनों से खींचूं?
आ जाओ आ जाओ।
Thank you for all the coordination and mental जल्दी उनके साथ एक फोटो ले। आइए आइए। थैंक यू। हाँ ले लो लो कहाँ है कैमरा वाला पर्सन कहाँ है चलो फिर एक खड़ा है
चलो इनका
लेको लेको ठीक है कोई बात नहीं चलो
चलो
ठीक है
अरे मैं साथ ले चल पड़ी आराम से बैठे हैं
ये वाले करने के लिए नहीं बैग हाथ में लेके चल पड़ी थी।
थैंक यू सो मच